Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cohn Phone. I'm Grant Cohn. I'll be taking your calls for the next hour. Then I got to end the show and drive down to Santa Clara and check out the Niners walkthrough and see if Javon Kinlaw's out there and Eric Armstead, see who's healthy. Because I want to make my prediction for this game, and I got to know who's going to be playing. Anyway, I think it's interesting where the Niners are at right now. I'm dying to hear your take. Is this a team that's about to figure it out and go on a run, or is this a train wreck? I think they should win this game against the Rams, but I think it's going to be low scoring and close. And the Niners lost one of those games last week. So I'm curious to see where you think this week is going, this season's going. Let's get right into it. If you want to call in, the link is in the chat and in the description. Korean Niner, first as always, good to see you.
Good to see you, Grant. How are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad. Couple points, and I'll let you go to the other callers. First point, I don't know what the rest of the season's going to bring. This season is different from last season when Kyle did find a way to pull out a playoff berth and a deep run to the NFC Championship game. We'll see what happens. I'm open to seeing what happens and not raking Kyle over the coals yet.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
From the Denver game, there were a couple things that did reinforce a couple things in my mind, like that stepping out of the back of the end zone. Jimmy, you're a ninth-year vet. You should know where the back of the end zone is. Right. But I can't fully blame him because Kyle gave him a bad play call, and it was a combination of a bunch of things on that play.
Yeah.
So, but
it's true. It was a bad play call. It was a bad execution.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's hard to give Jimmy an excuse for walking out of the back of the end zone. I'm sorry. But it was a bad play call too. It was a bad play call too.
Dan Orlovsky, I can kind of give an excuse. He was a rookie, and that was a very bad Detroit team. That's a tad more understandable.
Dan took 18 steps out of bounds though. He looked like he was terrified. He was running for his life. Jimmy just was oblivious. Yeah,
exactly.
And he talked about rust. I think what's crazy is that the Niners brought him. If he's rusty, why is he here? I mean, they talked about what a great move it was to have him as a backup. He didn't do anything all offseason. He's coming off surgery. He wasn't even in the meetings in training camp. And he's like, yeah, it's going to take me a little bit to get in rhythm. It's like, whoa. Didn't you want a backup who might be able to, do something the first quarter of the season? I don't know. They really talked themselves into it. And so far, it hasn't worked out. But maybe they'll win this week. I don't know.
There's a chance it could work out, but I'm skeptical of that just based on Jimmy's track record. He hasn't improved his mechanics. He still makes suspect reads, makes bad throws to open defenders. We'll see what happens with that. Last point on the game on Monday night, I think you're right. It'll be a reasonably close game. I don't think it's going to be that low scoring. I think it may be in the 20s. I see there's a possibility of San Francisco pulling it out, but they can't play off. If they play like they did on offense against Denver, they're not going to win.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. You can't expect the defense to be the 1985 Bears all the way through the season. That's not possible anymore.
I mean, the Niners, 29 passes and 18 runs, and they keep saying, it's because we didn't convert on third down. Nah, at the end of the game, you had the ball, 4 minutes left. You called 5 straight passes. The reason they were passing so much is because Kyle lost confidence in his running game. Now, other than that one long run, they were getting 2 yards a carry. And that's what I'm saying. You give Jordan Mason a chance because Jeff Wilson Jr. isn't good enough on his own. He'll give you 12 carries. A few of them will be good, but he's not going to win this game on his own. You got to get Jordan Mason involved. Hopefully, Bobby Turner is going to make that happen.
Hopefully so. Thank you, Grant. You have a nice weekend.
All right, man. You too. Hey, Mr. Blue Magic, I want to bring you on the show, but you can't smoke on the show, all right? So once you finish that Black and Mild, then I'll come back to you, all right? All right, I got you. Jay, what's up?
What's up, Grant? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. This is my first time calling in. I'm a big fan of listening in for.
I'm glad you called in, man. What's going on?
Good. Well, excited for this game on Monday. Tough to find silver linings with this injury with Trey. But what I wanted to ask you about is what's it take for the locker room to move on from Jimmy, right? At some point, yeah. When Trey gets hurt in Seattle, you see all these people. It's almost like we're celebrating after Trey's injury. And at the game, I see Trey hurt, and it was tough to see. But I'm trying to find silver linings, and I'm thinking, what would it take for this locker room to move on from Jimmy this year onto Trey more naturally? And I just don't understand what that's going to take.
Well, losing. Because I think the thing with Jimmy is no matter how mediocre his play is or his numbers are, the people like people on the team can say, "Hey, I don't care. We win with Jimmy. I like winning. Let's keep Jimmy." But we've seen this slow decline and fade of Jimmy, where he's becoming like, Jared Goff or whatever. And I think, what is he like 3-3 in his last 6 starts? Once the whole winning thing goes away, I think the Niners will have no choice but to embrace the unknown. Because with Jimmy, he's just mediocre at this point.
Right. I think the offense just hasn't been the same since really Tennessee, because what you get is you get these teams who will run a 3-4, 4-3 base, stack the box with like 8 or 9 in the box, and they don't feel the need to really respect the deep ball. Because I watched some of the film post game after the Denver game, and what you see is safeties and corners blatantly blowing off the deep ball and overplaying the one route that I think Jimmy always throws, which is that crosser. But as for Monday, I really, really hope they get Jordan Mason involved, because I think that I don't know that Jeff Wilson is that guy. I have Jeff Wilson on my fantasy team, love Jeff Wilson, but I also have Jordan Mason on my bench, so I would love to see Jordan Mason have a good game at some point. And I would love to see them get Danny Gray involved, because I feel like there's an element of speed that's just missing with Mostert gone. I watched Mostert in Miami Monday night, and it just seems like that's what's not there. I mean, we paid more dead money to Nate Sudfeld than we did to keep around. What would it cost to keep around Raheem Mostert, in my opinion?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's talked about enough.
Yeah, agree. This offense has become kind of slow. It's interesting. Mike McDaniel went to Miami and added all that speed, and the Niners are getting slower by the year. I mean, like, where's their home run threat? It's Debo? Well, he hasn't shown it yet. And if it's not Debo, it's got to be Danny Gray. Oh, what happened to Ray McLeod, too? Like, that guy does nothing. Very strange.
Yeah, no, we see Ray, and it feels more like he's been relegated to special teams, and that's great. He can be a kick returner, but during the preseason, you saw him flashing out of the slot. You saw him playing all these different places, and now all of a sudden, all that's gone. It's just the same 2 or 3. It's relatively unoriginal on offense. But as for Denver, I saw like a lot of the fans want to say, "Yo, fire Kyle," and Kyle's not calling a great game. And I agree, because I'm one of the people who thinks that Kyle has some blame for Trey's injury, right? I think that the usage wasn't there, but when you go back and look at the film, you see that Jimmy just misses a lot of opportunities that we don't see in the broadcast angle. But if you watch the game afterwards and you look back, like, there are throws where Debo's streaking down the sideline and Jimmy's looking underneath, or most quarterbacks pre-snap will line up and at least take a look around, and you'll see that a lot of times there were Bronco linebackers lined up on Ayuk in the slot or lined up against somebody else in the slot. And rather than call that out and say, okay, I got to throw there, it felt it was more predetermined pre-snap reads. And George Kittle is non-existent as my jersey. Yeah,
this is, people keep saying, like, Jimmy keeps saying he wants freedom, to go where he wants to go in the play. And then he just follows Kyle's instructions and says your plays suck after, he just throws to the first read. I mean, dude, you're the quarterback. You've been on the team a very long time. You're in your 30s. If you don't like the play call your own play. If you don't want to go to the number one, go wherever use the freedom you want. I hate this excuse. Like, quarterbacks in my day when I was a kid actually had some agency on the field. Jimmy's like, I want some agency. All right, do what you want to do. I mean, they already replaced you. You're not here next year. Like, do whatever you want to do on the field. If you think you know a better way of playing quarterback than what Kyle's telling you to do it and prove him wrong. But frankly, I don't think he does, man. I think it's all bluster.
Well, I think part of that is pre-snap reads too, right? If you want freedom occurs in the pre-snap. So you can audible. You have full autonomy to do that. You can call out mismatches that you see with Ayuk and linebackers, or with different reads that you have on the field. But I'm hoping that he puts it together. The Rams seem to be the year or the game every year that something rolls right. But I appreciate you having me on. Also appreciate you asking those tough questions in the presser.
Thanks, Jay.
It was good.
I appreciate it, man. Good call. Call in anytime.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Danny Young says Jimmy G and George Kittle feel like the awkward couple that broke up, but still work together. Jimmy G and George Kittle, or Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan? Mr. Blue Magic.
Grant, what's going on?
Man, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just want to throw some numbers out.
Sure.
Now, first, like I said when your father was on, once again, shout out to the Brooklyn boys. and Lowell, thank you for expanding my knowledge in wine. I told you, every time your father talks about wine, I go get it. So I just spent $200 on the 2 bottles that you got for winning the bets.
Hey, hey, well, we got to taste them around the same time and compare notes. I haven't cracked them open yet.
You're gonna love him. All right,
Okay.
so here's some numbers.
All right.
Now, Jimmy, um, all his passing yards
Yeah.
came from yak. It's all yak yardage.
Yep.
George Kittle was 1,000-yard receiver in 2018. He had 872 yards of yak.
That's hilarious.
In 19, well, okay, Jimmy. In 19, Kittle had 602. Debo, 473. Here's the totals. So 19, that was no Jimmy for George. That was 18 was no Jimmy. In 2019, Kittle and Debo had 1,000 yards. Yak. 2020, no Jimmy. They had 1,000 again. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, they said all the quarterbacks that wasn't named Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't do nothing. Same yak yardage.
Mm-hmm.
In 21, they had Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle combined for 1,534 total yak yards.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Jimmy.
No.
This is not Jimmy. Jimmy was a product of the Yak brothers.
Yes, that's true.
The Yak brothers. Kyle didn't create Jimmy.
No. Any mediocre quarterback
could have
put up any mediocre quarterback. Now, I'm not saying CJ Beathard is mediocre. Like, there were a lot of bad backups on this team that weren't as good as Jimmy.
But
any mediocre quarterback.
Now let's go back. So in the 2 seasons where Jimmy got hurt and he couldn't play, we had CJ Beathard, CJ Mullins, so forth and so on. You know, Debo and Kittle, they both miss 8 games.
That's right.
Not to mention our running backs who were hurt.
Yep.
So, see, they say men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. But numbers can be screwed.
Yeah.
To shape your narrative. Yeah. So the team, Jimmy's winning record, and the team's record without him doesn't account for the fact that while Jimmy was playing, he had the Yak brothers.
Yeah.
While our backups were playing, they didn't. While our backups was playing, Nick Bosa was out.
Yep.
While our backups was playing, our team was injury decimated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you, folks, I'm not a Jimmy hater. I'm a 49er fan. I don't care who's under the helm. I want to win.
Yeah.
But all this, if we don't have Jimmy, we can't. It's not Jimmy.
No.
Kittle's getting older. Kittle does not. He doesn't separate.
He's not what he used to be.
He's not as fast as he used to be. Mm-mm. Debo has never been a speed threat. No. He can't. Debo can run some routes now. But the fact that teams know that these underneath slants are coming, these short hitches are coming, and we got away from the jet sweeps, we got away from the screens, we got away from, even with our running backs, we got away from attacking the edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
That's why our offense, even as mediocre, when you actually break it down as it was, outside of the talent that was George Kittle dragging 4 defenders in against Drew Brees. Without those, if you break the offense down and the way Kyle has his quarterbacks running, because all of his quarterbacks throw the same interceptions.
Yep. Linebacker over the middle. Yeah. Yep.
If not that, it's a little too high because he's asking these quarterbacks to go over the linebacker, drop it dead in the middle.
Yeah,
in front of the safety. So when all those, and if you watch, it wasn't only Trey that was sailing high.
Yeah,
but Trey does have a problem with high sailing balls, even towards the sidelines and outside the numbers. He does. His mechanics need work with that. But when you look at all the quarterbacks, there's something about Kyle asking them to try to not only put touch on it, but thread it and drop it in a bucket. Mm-hmm. Kyle. They can't throw footballs inside of microwaves. And
they're not you. They're not you. They're not as good as you, man. Unfortunately, that's his problem.
Kyle's problem is evaluating talent.
Yeah, No question.
He sees a figure, and he'll take one thing and say, "What? That's it. You fit this perception in my head, and you do this the way I wanted to, even though you can't do nothing else that I'm going to ask of you. You can do this, and you look like this, and this is why I'm going to stick with you." Kyle, I'm not calling for you to get fired. I'm not saying that all your underlings were the reason that your offensive had success, but I'm saying I would love for you to add some type of wrinkle, something that the NFL has not seen. We know every week there's a game plan for the specific team that we're going up against. Kyle, we got to mix it up. Please.
Yep, I agree. That's a great call, man. Thanks for calling in, Blue Magic.
Love
Good
it.
stuff. Mic drop. Thank you. That was dope. Suki Pazuki says, would Alex Smith lead this team to the Super Bowl? Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of injuries going on right now. Dave, I want to bring you on the show, but it kind of looks like you're not wearing pants. Are you wearing pants? You got pants on? What's the pants situation? You do have pants on. Show me that you're wearing pants. I need evidence of pants before you're on the show. Because I see you wearing my t-shirt, but I don't know if you're wearing pants. You got pants on? He's got pants on. All right, you got pants on. All right. Let's talk. What's up, Dave?
What's up, Grant?
Because you were sitting there like you were naked a minute ago. I was like, oh my God, I got a crazy person. No, it's Dave. What's up? It's Dave. What's up? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I call you all right.
I know you.
Yeah, in all the time. First time I've ever called.
Yeah, most generous man in the chat. What's popping, man?
Hey, I'm not liking anything that's going on, man. Like,
What's not good?
Oh, let's not cuss, but Kyle Shanahan is driving me nuts.
Doesn't it kind of feel like if they lose this week, the whole thing could fall apart? Like they're a very fragile team.
It seems like everybody's like right on the verge. Like they're just ready to implode. I mean, seems like even George Kittle, all these guys, like there's something in the background that's not being said.
Yeah.
And don't.
But doesn't it kind of feel like the thing in the background that's not being said is that the team doesn't like Kyle? Or like, I mean, it just, if Jimmy is that, if him and Jimmy are at odds, we already know whose side the team's going to be on. They're going to be on Jimmy's side. And maybe it's possible that this whole Trey Lance thing, got the veterans against Kyle. Is that possible? And they're just not saying it?
Well, it's actually funny that you bring that up because this whole entire offseason, I've been telling my nephew, like, let's get rid of Kittle. Let's get rid of Debo. Let's get rid of all these veterans that think that, we already have this gold standard of a team and that we're already winners, but we haven't proved anything. So why on earth do we want to keep these guys around if they don't support Trey? Jimmy hasn't proven anything to me. I mean, he knows how to throw interceptions. That's for damn sure. He's got a quick release. That's about it. I mean, Debo, in my opinion, Debo and Kittle are kind of divas now. They're just princesses. They don't want to get hit. They are, it seems like they're always injured, but then again, they're always talking shit about, oh, we got to have Jimmy. We got to have this to win. But then what happens as soon as Jimmy's in? I mean, it was like this great big celebration when Trey Lance broke his ankle. Oh my God, we got Jimmy back. But okay, he won that one game. Is he just only good as a backup? As soon as he came in the next game and started, he sucked again.
Well, Seattle's one of the worst teams in the league. They're not going to win much this year. Yeah.
So, I mean, he comes in as a backup versus Seattle, and he looks okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to win that game one way or another. They would won that game with Brock Purdy.
But not like the Broncos are that good, Grant.
No, they're not that good. They have a good defense, but their offense is scoring like 15 points. It's terrible. Yeah.
And
now you got a good team. And I'm thinking the Niners can win this week, but like they really got to play a lot better than they've played so far. Week 4, you got to bring it all together. Last year, it took them to like week 9, week 8.
Yeah.
Before they had a complete performance.
That's another thing is what's up with these slow starts?
Like, I don't know, man. So many things point back to the head coach. What's up with the slow starts? What's up with your offense?
Back to Kyle.
Yeah,
I mean, I've told you, but I've been a Niner fan for 40 fucking years, and never have I been like unsupportive of the team. I've always been like, okay, well, we're gonna roll with the punches. Something's gonna happen. And now, I mean, Kyle, it just seems like he's it's like he has this like, especially every time you ask a fucking question, he's like, what do you want? Like, I'm the coach. I'm the captain here. It's like, dude, you work for us. You're there because then, the Niners want you there. But I mean, in all reality, the fans own this team. We're the ones that pay everybody, pay Jed, pay whatever, right? Why on earth is Kyle still acting like he's too good to talk to you or too good to explain to the fans what's actually going on? I mean,
it'd be one thing if he were Bill Belichick and he had 7 rings and I'm just some guy and he's like, look, do I really have to explain myself to you? But he's not Bill Belichick. He has no rings. He's 4 games under 500 as a coach. I think these are fair questions. And and it's not just me asking them either. It's Matt Mayoko. It's everyone, especially when he loses. So, Dave, I got to get to a lot of people. I got 40 minutes left in the show, but thanks for calling in, man.
Absolutely, Grant. Thank you.
All right, take care. All Niners says Blue Magic speaking facts. Good call. Agree. Take off the Jimmy hate goggles, people. Not Jimmy's fault. They lost to the Rams last year. Not even close. He took a 500 team to the Final Four. Okay, man. Sweet. You should probably buy his jersey then. John G, what's up?
What's up? How you been?
Good, man. How you been?
Good. I have 2 quick questions.
All right.
I assume you're changing your Super Bowl pick?
Yeah, I probably should do that. Yes.
Do you have an idea who you're thinking?
No. Maybe I should go back. I was thinking Minnesota, but I don't really like them either. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking it'll be an AFC team.
Yeah. So far the Bills look pretty decent.
Chiefs will always be there.
Yeah. Let me get back to you on that. Let me think about it.
And then,
that's a good question, though.
I guess that falls on the next. Where do you see us in the NFC compared to the Bucks, Rams, Eagles now?
I mean, I think the Niners could still win the NFC West. I'm not really into the Rams. Like, if I were covering that team, I'd be pretty hard on them too. Like, what happened to the speed in that offense? They have no running game, no home run threat. It's just Cooper Kupp a million times.
I think they just caught a win last year, kind of like we did.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the regular season, but they did it in the postseason.
Yeah, that team wasn't that great. Niners probably should have won the Super Bowl last year if they had Trey Lance playing, they would have won. Yeah. If they had just figured out the quarterback position and gotten someone who was like very good but not great, they'd probably have 2 rings right now. But they didn't.
Just didn't run the same game plan 6 games in a row against the Rams.
That's true. You think they'll have a wrinkle this week or the same shit?
No, they'll probably run the ball 40 times.
You think Jordan Mason gets a touch? Or are they just going to troll us and give it to Tevin Coleman?
He got 1 last week, right?
He got 1!
He might get 2.
He might. Good shit, John. Peace. I liked how laid back he was. He was cool. All Niners says Croc and Greg Pinelli broke down the film, and while Jimmy made some bonehead mistakes, our offensive line was horrendous last week, specifically right guard, right tackle. That is true. But McGlinchey terrible at pass block. That is very, 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 very true. Josh Wyatt, you got 4 minutes. Because I know you got a lot to say, so make it count.
All right. Well, I was going to talk about the nature of hope and despair. Because...
Are you going to bring in Greek tragedies too? Greek myth? All right.
But the fact is that the fan base is in a state of kind of doom and gloom right now because it seems like everything is gone. Like we've lost our path forward and we've lost our vision for the future, and there's a lot of blame to go around on that. I keep coming back to the idea that they didn't start Lance last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we had this big argument about why that was, right? Is Lance an upgrade? Is Lance not an upgrade? And what our argument boiled down to was, will they run Lance? Will they run him, or will they try to develop him as a passer and take a long time to do it, right? And so...
if you play him as a rookie, you'll have to run him. But if you sit him, he will magically become Aaron Rodgers. Right?
Oh, yeah. No,
you have to develop him the right way because we want him to be a quarterback, not a runner.
Right. And so, and then the other thing is how good is he as a runner? And my understanding of him as a runner was he's decent. He's okay. He's good. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not going to blow you away. No. But the problem with his running is that he's not fast enough to run the outside zone read. Right? If he's going to run that option, and he's going to read that defensive end and then beat the containment, the secondary linebacker outside like Colin Kaepernick used to do, he's got to be a 4.4 guy. And he ran 4.57 at the pro day and didn't run in the combine because he couldn't improve on that. Because he's a 4.6 guy. He's a 4.6 guy.
I don't think he ever ran a 40. I don't think he ever ran a 40.
At his pro day, he ran 4.57.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, and that's decent.
I think Cap ran 4.53.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
but
what I noticed, real quick, with Trey, what I noticed is that defenses were totally focused on stopping him. So anytime he handed off, the guy gained like 8 yards. Also, he was terrible at reading on the zone read. People talk about developing as a passer. Dude, the 2 zone reads, the one that Debo had was the wrong read. He should have kept it. Debo had to make a guy miss in the backfield. And then when he broke his ankle, he should have gave it to Ray. So, again, it's a guy that was so inexperienced in everything.
I'm less interested in that, though. What I'm really interested in is what happened in that preseason, because coming into the year 2 preseason, I don't think he's an upgrade. I think the 49ers are taking a gap year. They're taking a step back. They haven't addressed needs on the offensive line. They've got a lot of young players they're looking to develop. And then we saw that first preseason game, and I went, okay, I see it. He's operating the offense from the pocket, right? Over the course of a season, he's going to improve at those things. We could make a run this year if things fall into place. I see it. He could be an upgrade. And then they ran him 15 times against the Bears. Right?
Why?
Why was that? What did they see? What made them change their mind from their original plan?
I think they overreacted to training camp. He had a rough training camp. He was going up against the best defense in the league. They beat his ass a lot of days. Sometimes he got him. But really, he had a rough camp. I think they overreact, and they're like, "Oh God."
But I think that's the real indictment on Kyle is he didn't stick to his game plan for Trey Lance.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
If your game plan for Trey Lance is to sit him the first year, develop him as a passer, make him play from the pocket, develop him over the course of the season, maybe you won't make it this year, but he'll show strides, and next year you're good to go. And then you pull the plug on all of that and sign Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup so you can run him 15 times a game. That's a fireable offense.
I love it. That's a good call. I'm gonna stop you right there because that's a mic drop. Great job, dude. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Peace. Live from the mail truck. I don't know where he calls from, but that room is something else. Bring Ken Dorsey home to run this team and develop Trey, bringing the Kyle Jimmy era to an end. Yeah, it's like it is the Kyle Jimmy era. They're always gonna be linked, and it sucks. Dave says, "Thanks for having me on, Grant." Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you and remembering who I am. Let's hopefully beat these Rams. Kyle got Trey hurt, and going back to Blue Magic, if JG didn't have guys with Yak, what would his stats be? That's very true. All right, Bryant and then King Sirski. Hey, nice hat.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How you doing? Yeah.
I'm doing great. So I got one question. I know you got a lot of colors.
Right.
If we beat LA with Bobby Turner being back, is he the real genius?
He might be. To me, this is a genius move by Kyle Shanahan because his ship is sinking. The USS Shanahan is taking on water every week, and Captain Kyle doesn't seem to have the solution. So all of a sudden, he brings in like a friend that can really fix the big issue with the offense right now. They can't run the ball. If the Niners can't run the ball, they can't do anything. It's all built off that. So Mike McDaniel's not coming back, but Bobby Turner is experienced, and I'm sure. What was really funny was we interviewed the run game coordinator, Chris Furster, the offensive line coach, and obviously he's failing, right? The run game isn't working. So he comes out yesterday, and instead of answering questions about how bad the run game is, we're asking about Bobby Turner. How great is it to have Bobby back? And he's like, oh yeah, so good. And to me, it's like he's here because you're failing, and you know it. Anyway, yeah, Bobby Turner. I just wonder how much can he do? He just got back yesterday on a Friday. How much can he do? Can he help them? He needs to save their season now. Oh.
Bring it around the law.
Oh, I lost you, Bryant. I lost you.
All right.
Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. All
right. Well, I was just going to say maybe he'll bring up the morale in the locker room. Maybe they'll let him carry the bump box out, but with the hip surgery, maybe he shouldn't carry the bump box. But yeah, if we beat LA, we're back in first place. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting year, whether we go too far or but every week, just one game at a time. But thanks, Grant.
The defense is ready to go. Good to see you, man. Take care. One more comment. NC Niner fan says, tell out-of-state fans not to stay in Santa Clara. It sucks. I stayed up there last year. We beat LA the first game. Are you going to the NC game? Yeah, I'll be at the NC game. Yeah, don't stay in Santa Clara. It's better to stay in San Francisco and commute than to stay in Santa Clara because there's nothing in Santa Clara. There's nothing in Santa Clara. Sorry to people who live in Santa Clara. Joey says, what are your thoughts on Chris Forster? He seems like he can talk the talk. What do you think of his coaching abilities? I really like interviewing him. He looks like a good offensive line coach, but I don't think he should be the run game coordinator. I think the run game coordinator should be someone who's just focused on the run game, like McDaniel was, not a position coach. So now maybe Bobby Turner can be the run game coordinator. You see what I'm saying? King Sirski, what's up?
Grant, what's up, man? What's going on with you?
It's been a minute, man. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I'll make it real quick. I saw your topic where it says all the 49ers contenders. I think the 49ers are continues to a certain extent. And you already know where I'm going with it. Let's just push the defense to the side because the defense is good. They're great. They're balling. I think they're gonna be a top 3 defense this season. So that's the cat in the bag. It's Jimmy, man. Straight up. Everybody know how I feel about Jimmy. I don't like Jimmy. I think Jimmy now that he's back at quarterback for us again, I think this offense is gonna be stagnant again. And it's going to be up to Kyle. Kyle going to have to figure it out with this Jimmy stuff, man. Because what I seen in that Denver game was atrocious. I think that was probably the worst game Jimmy Garoppolo ever played. And don't you notice that every time Jimmy comes back after injuries every season, he gets worse and worse and worse?
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
I mean, this is the first quarterback.
I don't know why they thought he was going to be effective coming off an offseason where he had surgery and did nothing. Like, he's not even good if you gave him 6 months to lift weights and prepare. He wouldn't. But now, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he's the first quarterback in NFL who threw a pick 8. You know, so I mean, but anyway, I
like that, man. That's hella funny.
But yeah, man, I mean, going forward, starting with the Ram game throughout the season, man, college is going to have to find a way to add a wrinkle in his running game. I think the running game this season is going to have to be the focal point of us winning football games. When Debo's in the backfield now, defenses know that Debo's getting the ball. It's obvious now.
Yeah.
So whenever Debo is in the backfield, defenses know that he's getting the ball. So Kyle's going to have to add a wrinkle to that. Second of all, Kyle Shanahan going to have to he's going to have to start using a running back committee. And he has to have Jordan Mason out there getting some snaps.
Yep.
He already got Jeff Wilson out there. Jeff Wilson, to me, he's still good. I think he's still at the same. I think he'll get better. I think he's kind of, he's getting there. But at the same time, he's getting yards, he's getting chunk plays. But he's going to have to put Jordan Mason in there. You got to put him in there, man. Also, they brought Tevin Coleman back. If Tevin Coleman is on the active roster this week, this coming weekend, you run him. I mean, Kyle's going to have to get his running game going because it helps Jimmy. I mean, if you don't have a running game, Jimmy G is just going to be a turnover machine. I think he's a turnover machine when the running game is working. I mean, there's just no way around it. But Kyle's going to have to find a way to just get the running game going to me. I mean, if he can get the running game going and have it effective every season, I mean, every game, then he'll be fine. But, I mean, this with Jimmy, man, I mean, he's probably on the player that's holding this team back, and I just can't stand it, and I hate that we gotta go through another season with him at the helm. So, man, I don't know. It's just Kyle's gonna have to find a way to get the running game going. If we can't get the running game going, it's gonna be a problem, and it's gonna be more stress on the defense as well because they can't hold on all game. It's gonna come to a point where at the end of the game they're gonna get gassed because we're not putting up points or not progressing on the offensive side of the ball. So Kyle's going to have to get it going with the running game. If not, then it's a wrap, man.
Agree. Good call, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right, man.
King Sirski. Now, Aminthe Dream. What's up?
What's up, Grant?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I mean, I agree with what Sirski said. I feel like the Niners, if they want to win, they have to run the football effectively. But here's my thing. When you look back at the offense on Sunday, the offense was atrocious. Jimmy Garoppolo made numerous mistakes, and he said pick 8, did that. But teams know really what the 49ers do on offense with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, which is run the football as much as they can and have Jimmy Garoppolo throw the least amount of passes as they can. We know what they do on offense with Jimmy Garoppolo. So
also, they didn't put new wrinkles in the Jimmy Garoppolo offense this offseason. It was all about Trey. Yeah, so it's just dusting off the old stuff.
At a certain point, teams already know what the 49ers do, right? So even going back to the NFC Championship game, the Rams stacked the box. They were trying to stop the run. Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the football. We didn't win that game, right? So at a certain point, going as the season progresses, teams are going to know that the Niners run the football. And teams know that already. They're going to stack the box. And when Jimmy Garoppolo has to throw the football to win the game, or when he has to put up points using his arm, can Jimmy Garoppolo do that?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times we haven't seen that he can. And
Right.
the thing with Trey Lance is that the Niners drafted Trey Lance because Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt a lot, but the Niners drafted Trey Lance because of the upside that he brings to this offense and the potential that he has, that he potentially could be a top 10 quarterback with the 49ers.
Mhm.
And in the NFL in general, he could be a top 10 quarterback. And
Mhm.
that's why the 49ers drafted Trey Lance.
Mhm.
With Jimmy Garoppolo, you don't really get that upside.
No.
And the thing with Trey Lance, like I've said it before, is that the thing that Trey Lance brings to this offense, if he played this year, was the deep ball. He can, take the top off the defense, and he can extend plays with that running ability. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't bring you that. So, 1 second, Grant, 1 second. I just got off a cold, so I have
All good.
No,
Yeah.
but this year, we started off 3-5 last year, but this year we have teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the schedule, the Chargers, the Chiefs. So defensively, we know that the defense is obviously great, but you're not going to neutralize those offenses or limit those offenses like you did to 9 points against the Broncos. Those offenses are going to put up points on you. They are for sure, right? They're definitely going to put up more than double-digit points on you. And are you going to be able to run the football that well that you can go toe-to-toe with those offenses? Do you think they could go toe-to-toe with those offenses by just running the football?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So that's the thing.
No.
Last year when we were 3-5, there were some easy schedules on Seattle, and there were some games that the Niners could win when they were down 3-5. Now they had some tough game against the Bengals and things like that. But this game on Monday, if you don't win on Monday, the Panthers and Falcons, those games you definitely have to go 2-0. But then when you play the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bucks, the Cardinals, and all these other teams, that's difficult. And if Jimmy Garoppolo continues to make the same mistakes that he made on Sunday night, you're not winning those games.
Yeah, that's true. Got to play better. Great call.
Later.
Good to see you, man. Take care. All right. Try to keep it to about 3 minutes because I got 22 minutes left, and then I got to jump down to Santa Clara. Hayden Sports.
What's up?
What's up? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. I'm excited for the Monday game, but at the same time, I'm very not excited for the Monday game. I forgot after the Denver game. I remember I saw I think I was watching Monday Night Football with the the Cowboys and Giants, and it was showing the schedule for the Monday Night Football games, and I was like, oh god, I forgot we play the Rams primetime again.
Yeah.
So
it's doesn't it feel like a make or break? It's too soon for this, right? The Niners aren't ready, but the whole season's at stake.
It's because we're so used to the Niners starting out slow. Last year we were 2-5. We're so used to that, or we were somewhere around there.
So yeah.
But and before it's okay, we know the locker room will still be together, but it feels like a loss this week. There'll be more fans pressing. If Jimmy plays bad, obviously, if he plays fine, we'll lose, whatever. But if he plays bad, there's gonna be more fans pressing for Purdy. There'll be the locker room just won't be as connected.
They don't seem particularly close right now. So one more loss,
and especially because you have a guy like Ayuk who obviously it's pretty obvious he's one of the few guys who like Trey more than Jimmy. So if he had to sit there and listen to everyone being okay, sucks that Lance got hurt, but we're a better team now, and then they lose and Jimmy plays bad, he's going to be what were you guys talking about? Why were you guys so yay, Jimmy's back, and he sucks.
So who do you think's going to win?
I don't, because again, we know the defense is probably not going to allow more than 20 points, maybe, especially with how bad the run game is. I think what we need to do is we need to just run a lot of nickel and dime because the run game sucks already. Plus Aziz is out, so if we run nickel and dime, we'll have less linebackers on the field, so we won't have to have Demetrius Flanagan fouls out there. It'll just be
and no Armstead and Kinlaw potentially, but the Rams don't run the ball, so I think they should be. They got if they rush the quarterback and sack Matt Stafford, they should be fine. Hayden, I got to take more calls, though. Is there anything else you want to express emotionally before you get off? Because you seem like you're having something, like you're going through something right now on a Saturday morning.
Like, I'm still so upset about Lance. Like, because
Yeah.
I remember I made the post on my TikTok. Follow, by the way, it's right there. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
But I made a post like after the NFC Championship. I was like, oh, I'm so happy that this is the last game I have to watch of Jimmy Garoppolo. I already had my Trey Lance jersey ready. I was in Chicago with my Trey Lance jersey on.
You jinxed it.
So prepared.
You jinxed it.
I was so
It's
ready.
your fault.
Yeah.
Learn from it. Do better next time.
I was so
Good stuff,
ready.
man.
I was like, oh, finally, it's over. And then after Trey got hurt,
You learned an important lesson. Life is not fair. It's not. I'm sorry, Hayden. Good call, though. Good stuff.
Right,
Have a good one. All right, later. Professor Lawless says, how do you call into the Cohn phone? I think he figured it out. I think he knows. What's up?
Oh, crap. Can I say crap on him? I'm sorry.
You can say crap, but just keep it today.
Yeah, I have one big. First of all, Trainwreck, absolutely Trainwreck right now with the Niners. I've stopped watching the game.
I mean, when Jimmy says your plays suck, and then I ask him, he's like, "Hey, man, it is what it is." Like, what?
This is probably the first time I've respected Jimmy since he came to the Niners after that first horrible season after he got signed off.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
Here's my question:
Yeah.
I always hear people say, "Jimmy took us to the Super Bowl in 2019, and we were here." Which plays? Which
Trent, just like Trent Dilfer took the Ravens to the Super Bowl, man. It was all about Trent.
I mean, every time I hear it, and then they say all they do is win. How?
He plays great defense.
Doesn't include yak yards.
Right.
Like, it's so incredibly frustrating. Right. I just don't get it. But I did agree with you early on when you and your dad made that bet. As soon as you said, I was like, yeah, they're not getting rid of Jimmy.
No.
He's going to be here again this season.
They can't quit him. They can't.
Yeah, I don't get it. I feel like Jay has like a secret daughter. And she's secretly married to.
I don't know.
Jimmy
aren't there rumors like that about Bob Kraft? I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, it could be. I believe anything at this
Who
point.
knows?
Because there's no logical reasoning behind Jimmy being on this team.
That's true. There are weird things that happen in professional sports.
Trey went down, and like you should have seen how happy people were. Like before Trey was even off the field, people were just like, "All right, let's go, Jimmy." I'm like, can you let him get carted off the field first? Yeah. Can we have some amount of like respect?
Yeah,
it just blows my mind. So that I just had to. Oh, and please, someone asked Nick Bosa. He said we'll be fine as long as Trey doesn't mess up. I'm still waiting on him to announce that for Jimmy. Can somebody please can somebody ask that question, please?
Thank you, Professor. Love it. Later. Got you. Hold on. Ooh. Isaac says, supposedly Jimmy's best game was 2019 versus the Saints. Had a pick. Sanders threw TD pass. Kittle went beast mode. Saints back. Bad tackling. Raheem was heating up. Yeah, man. I mean, are we just now realizing that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't that great? Are we just figuring this out? Dave says, oh, yeah. Why couldn't we afford to pay Mostert? He still looks good. Matthew Roberts says, are we going to see quarterback power with Jimmy? I mean, yeah, they probably should have kept Mostert considering they're down to Marlon Mack. Are we going to see quarterback power with Jimmy? Also, Mostert leaves and he can stay healthy all of a sudden. Anyone else notice that? Mostert leaves healthy. Replacements all hurt. No one else notice that? What is it with Kyle and his running backs? Like, it's always bad luck. I'm not saying he's like hurting them intentionally, but I don't know what's happening. 88-9er, Rob Martin.
What's going on, boss? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
It's been a couple weeks, man. I know we got a long list, so I'm gonna get to it. First off, I love the lineup this year. Love the Cohn zone with you and Pops, and love Cruz. I love his point of view. He's mentioned a couple things that I agree with wholeheartedly. Kyle Shanahan has done this team a just egregious disservice. An egregious disservice. And the reason is because, number one, we got Jimmy Garoppolo. And I don't have nothing against Jimmy, but we should not have Jimmy as a backup. We should have a Tyler Huntley or a Cam Newton or somebody with a similar skill set to Trey.
Agree. I've been saying to sign Cam all week, by the way, but keep going.
Yeah. The reason why Kyle has done us and the rest of the team such a disservice is because you got this guy, you spend all this draft capital, you revamp your offense. That's the mistake. That's the mistake. In 2019, when we made that run, the reason that we were so excited about Trey Lance was because we was like, look, you put Trey in that same offense, that puts the defense on its heels, because on a rollout, when we know Jimmy's not going to run, Trey can run. Also, if they start biting too close, Trey can sure enough hawk that thing down the field. And so he should have kept the same offense. And when Juice said the comment that he did, that told me that the team was not on the same page as the coach, and it's the coach's fault. With the backup, you bring a competitive not a competitive backup, a similar backup into Trey. The show keeps going, we keep going, and it just doesn't make any sense. So Kyle is tripping. Kyle is tripping for having Jimmy back. Kyle is tripping for his play calling. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. You know what I'm saying? What are we running inside for so much? We got all this speed. Now we've downgraded a bit, but we're still known as speed talent. Why are we running inside? We don't have power guys. We keep
getting hurt.
And we got a line that is too new at the job to be trying to block inside. They need to slide to the left, slide to the right, get downhill, and make it happen. That's all I got, Grant.
Great stuff, man. Good to see you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Right. NorCal Benny, you ready?
Know it.
What's up?
So, did you see that UCLA quarterback juke those Husky defenders? That was nasty.
I didn't see it.
You need to look at that.
DTR? DTR. I like DTR.
So, question.
Sure.
Do you think that if Shanahan sticks around with that and California high taxes, Bosa will not come back? Because if you're a premium defender and you know your offense is garbage, why would you want to stay there?
Your offense is not figuring it out, and the taxes are just outrageous.
Crazy. Why? I mean, he's a Florida boy, so he
doesn't live out here. He lives in Florida.
Yeah.
He lives in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know. It has crossed my mind. It'll be interesting to see what the Niners do. I mean, do they let D'Amico leave this offseason? You know, like, what is if Kyle is really struggling, they miss the playoffs, and D'Amico gets looks as a head coach, what does Jed do? You know, does he want to keep his defense intact? I'm curious.
Has to panic. It's panic mode.
It's panic. Pretty much.
Straight up. Because Kyle's proven he can't close games. He can't do it.
He can't pick a quarterback. He can't develop a quarterback. He can't keep his players healthy. He can't close games.
All fails.
Other than that, he's so good, though.
He's so good. Great.
The best.
Great. Yeah.
All right, Benny. Thanks for waiting around, man. I appreciate you. Good stuff. All right. You already know. You already know who it is. Thanks for waiting, man. How you doing?
What's up, my brother?
Good to see you, man. This is the week.
I got to tell you, here in the chat and hear you talk, what have I been saying for the last couple of years? Kyle Shanahan is incompetent. He's incompetent. No, okay.
He's looking that way right now. I will say, though, McVay's not looking great over there, but they are 2-1, so you can't call him incompetent.
Well, see,
what's up with your offense? What's up with your offense, dog?
I want to explain like this. McVay already has the chip on the shelf.
That's true. That is a good point. You got that.
Right now, it's just
That's
gravy.
True. But
true. Also, too, what I want to people to understand is we don't even have Van Jefferson, who's a third.
Very important player. Yeah, he's your home run threat. He's not there.
Allen Robinson looks like me trying to go out there. We'll see what happens, though. But we have a guy. I know you don't watch the Rams, but there's a guy, Lance McCutcheon, undrafted free agent, 6'3" guy. Maybe, but both teams are not where they're going to be. You know, on the Niners side, the offensive line's beat up on both sides. Unfortunately for Kyle, McDaniels put a water boy and took the playbook with him. And he can't seem to come up with any plays. Wow, the boy genius, right?
It's crazy, right?
He looks like he's aged 40 years being in Santa Clara.
He looks so old. And my wife's always like, "What happened to Kyle?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Maybe it's me."
That's what happens working under the Yorks, I tell you. And then meanwhile, Sean McVay is like, you know, how's my hair?
Jimmy too, though. Jimmy looks like he's older than Tom Brady. Legitimately, I don't know what happened to him.
But Grant, I want to tell you something. At least right now, McVay's going into his bag. There's a guy, number 18, Ben Tronick. I don't know if you saw him lay out J.J. Watt. He's a fullback now. So we have a fullback running plays out of the fullback position. So don't be surprised if you see Bosa get laid out on one of these plays from the side.
I'm
Don't
so
be
tired of this
surprised.
whole Skoron. I know. I've seen Ben Skoron.
No,
before.
he's not but right now he's going into his bag. He unlike Kyle Shanahan, who had to get my poor guy out of
That's
the
true.
hospital bed.
I'll give McVay credit for thinking of something because he got to do something, man.
And I tweeted you. What was the guy's name that came in? The older gentleman that came in to help the
Bobby Turner.
Bobby Turner. I put on there in his best in a lethal weapon voice. My guy Danny Glover. He's gonna look at that old line and see how they run. He's gonna be like, "I'm too old for this shit." I tell you,
that's
brother,
funny, man. That's funny, man.
I'm ready for Monday night. But what's hilarious is the Niners think that this is their Super Bowl. We got to win this game, and it's only game 4.
That's how fragile this team is. That's how fragile this team. You saw Jimmy Garoppolo is like after bad plays, he's like, "Man, your plays suck." And then he asked about it. He's like, "Yeah, man, it is what it is." I say things on the field.
I almost want Jimmy to win because he's getting a little chippy now with Kyle.
Yeah.
Jimmy, these plays suck. That's hilarious. I mean, that's a lifetime meme. Besides the Nick Scott hit on Debo. Even if we lose this game, I think we're gonna win. I think we're going to win because if you guys couldn't, if not you guys, because you're not a fan.
Right.
If they couldn't beat the Broncos and they keep beat the Seahawks, goodness gracious, we should still be able to win. But one thing I want to tell you down the road is we're getting close to November. OBJ, can you hear me? Robert Quinn, can you hear me? Robert Quinn, if the Bears keep losing, keep an eye on Robert Quinn replacing Von Miller on the other side of Leonard Floyd. And then Van Jefferson will be back in a few weeks. We're going to start rolling. So both teams are not where they're going to be.
This is the Niners' best opportunity to win this game because the Rams really could get better. The Niners get some guys back from injury, but right now it seems like the Niners' defense could dominate the Rams' offense.
The poor Niners defense. Could
they get some help? Could they get some help? Man, I got to take more calls. I'm sorry, but
bless you,
great stuff.
Thank you.
Hey, good luck
you,
this
man.
weekend, man. All right, man. Have a good
one.
What?
I got to get your merchandise guy. Let me show you something on my TV. I'm glad you could see it. I want to just show it's not nothing bad. I need to get these shirts out. You're a merchandise guy.
All right, man.
What do you think?
I like it. Have a good one, man. Peace. Alanta says, Kyle said Jimmy has one of the best arms on the planet, yet he does not trust him to throw the football. It's a total joke. Yeah, we got joke status. All right, 2 more calls. Niner Nick, New York Nick, and BXNiner for life. I got to leave at 11, so let's keep it short. What's up, man?
Yo, is the person after me from the Bronx too?
Yep.
You said BXNiner for life, right?
Yep. Where are you calling from? Which borough you in?
The Bronx.
Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. Nice. Nice. All right.
I think this season is a train wreck. Even if they end up as contenders, and I think it's a train wreck because you lost your franchise quarterback. Your franchise quarterback hasn't played in 2 years, and you don't have a coach that can seem to coach him or call plays or knows right now what he wants from him. And it's not like Trey is going to be nice next year. You know what I'm saying? Because he already didn't play for 2 years. So it's
and we saw how that worked out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It goes back to what you said last year about just play the kid. Play the kid. Play the kid.
We got to start using reverse psychology on Kyle because he's such a we got to be like, don't play Trey. Run him between the tackles. It's smart.
Right. So yeah, I think that to your point, play the kid has been the main theme of this whole situation. And because if you look at it this year, the game plan, him running between the tackles didn't even have to be done if he just played last year and went through the growing pains and all that stuff.
Yep. I know. That's a good point. In retrospect, him not playing Trey Lance last year is easy to critique. Kyle, you look bad on that one. He can't defend himself on that one. It didn't work out. Good stuff, man. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, brother.
Peace. All right. I love doing the Cohn phone because there's Niner fans from all over the country, and you get dudes from the South and New York and California. It's pretty tight. All because of Bill Walsh and Joe Montana before I was born. What's up, BXNiner for life? For life.
What's up, Bryant?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. My point is going to your show on Fridays.
Yeah.
When you were talking about how Jimmy's talking about he wants to have more freedom in throwing the ball.
Yeah.
But even if he's not following Cal's script, he can't throw the ball.
That's a good point. And he even said so, right? My arm's tired and
yeah. And he's not actually looking and going through the progressions. I actually seen one of the plays where I think it was Ayuk on the right side on the linebacker, wide open, or that might have been Debo. Wide open. He looked that way, turned the linebacker that way, and then went inside. Yeah. It's like, hello, he's wide open.
No thanks. No
yeah,
thanks.
And then on top of that,
I might miss that throw.
The pass he threw to Debo that he was wide open against the linebacker again, that he floated it to him where Debo had to stop and go back to it and then basically bobble the ball and almost drop it. Now, if he would have got it over his head in the breadbasket, that would have been picked. That would have been a sixth touchdown. 1, 2, 3. He could talk all the crap of all the freedom he wants and everything, but he doesn't have the arm to throw it to these guys. That's why we're not using Danny Gray, Ray McLeod, because they can get past their defenders, but there's no arm to reach them.
No,
and
absolutely not.
Garoppolo is, like you said at another show of yours, he's a percentage completion guy.
Yep.
This is why
that means he won't throw it down the field because you might miss that throw.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And instead of going down deep, he wants to do the screens, the quick dump offs, quick ins.
Also, he won't throw the ball away. He won't throw the ball away. He'd rather take a sack. No.
He'd rather take this, which is still bad because now you're just putting yourself in a position to try to get that first down farther away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as for the run game, they got to stop going inside. They're loading that box up. They already got his run game down. You got Ray and Danny Gray and Debo. And if you got Debo in that backfield, everybody knows Debo going to get that ball.
Yep. That's
Why not try
how about some play action? Action? Yeah.
Or reverse. Double reverse.
There you go. There you go.
You hand it off to Debo on one way. He's going this way. Everybody's going to follow him. You got Danny Gray coming around the other side.
I like that.
He's got the speed to get to the outside.
I like that. You listening, Kyle? Why not?
Why not?
I like it. Yeah.
It makes it easier on that. And then if you got rollouts, he can do a rollout. You know, fake your run, do your rollout. You're going to get somebody open, especially if you got Juszczyk coming out the backfield, because usually Juszczyk, when he's coming out that backfield doing that wheel route, he's usually wide open.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. BXNiner for life. Ridiculous. Great call.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Let's see what happens this week. Peace. All right, that's the show. The Niners have their walkthrough in 1 hour and 10. I got to get down there. It's a 45-minute drive. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. See what happens Monday night. Hold on. Dave Barclay says in Montana, there's a town here named Joe, a.k.a. Ismay. But made me laugh the first time I seen it. Welcome to Joe, Montana. That's hilarious. See you guys. Thanks, Dave.